YouTube, we're back. A few choice pieces here, so let's go. We're live? All right, we're live on Instagram. Let's go.
Let's start with the Rolly. You know, this is what we do. Probably, what, 6 out of 10 watches Rolex, would you say? Or a little more? I think it's fair. 6 out of 10.
To buy and
no, I'm
sell.
talking about overall volume. Probably 6 out of 10.
Well, last year we did 126 million. I can tell you revenue. 126 million revenue last year at just shy of 25 million was Rolex. So about 20%.
20%.
So that would be 2 out of 10, not 6 out of 8.
But you're talking about sales volume. I'm talking about individual units.
Oh, units, yes, because it is a cheaper product. So you're right, absolutely. Because something like this, you have to sell.
Cheap, less expensive, not cheap. All right, so we're going with the 12660 Sea-Dweller, and my overall thoughts on this watch. I actually usually prefer Submariners always to Sea-Dwellers, but the fact that this has the Sea-Dweller and the gold writing makes it stand out to me more than the 126613 counterpart. Another watch that really didn't suffer any type of correction, I would say. Because
it never really got crazy.
Never really got crazy. It's a little bit thicker of a case for a lot of people, but nonetheless, great watch, great pickup. Probably one of the best pieces you can pick up from Rolex under 20,000 today.
But I wish they would take it to make everything gold.
Well, yeah, like a full gold Sea-Dweller. They were talking about that.
And I think they will because Rolex, they just run out of stuff to make and
what the problem is that like where the Yachtmaster 2 kind of drops off in a lot of people's heads because it's so thick, and that kind of. It's the same thing with the Sea-Dweller.
All right, I'm going to jump to some purchases that are not in boxes. I bought another 5960 in stainless steel.
Yeah, they said they were rare, but we have about 6 of them.
No, this is number 4 or 3. Actually, no, we sold one, so number 3. But I'm going to continue buying these because I practice what I preach, and I think that the fact that it was produced for a relatively short amount of time, and the fact that you get an annual calendar chronograph in a stainless steel case from Patek. How can you go wrong buying one of these? Let's go back to the Journe.
The Pittsburgh Steelers edition?
The Pittsburgh Steelers edition.
Actually, it's a bad thing to say considering the Steelers are pretty, I think we're 1 and 3, so.
What are they?
1 and 3.
For those that are not 𝗵𝗲 Journe collectors, for those that just know of 𝗵𝗲 Journe, which most people do, seemingly you'll say they all more or less look the same. And I think this was 𝗵𝗲 Journe's way to jump into that sort of sports world, much like Odysseus from Lange, but still staying within their constraints of their fine watchmaking, et cetera, et cetera. And personally, I think they did a wonderful job doing that. This watch weighs absolutely nothing.
Yep.
I mean, it's super light. I don't know how many grams this thing is. Let's see what's in here.
So with the next unboxing, we have, in my opinion, the best 42mm offshore iteration in the longest time. I can't think of a better 42 offshore, and I call it the Gulf. I don't know what the proper terminology is, but
like the gas station you're talking about?
Sort of, same color scheme. I think the colorway with the Tiffany, obviously that's like a new fad, right?
I think they did an outstanding job with this offshore. In fact, I think in the next month or 2, I'm going to buy one of these.
Matter of fact, the one cool thing about this one is I actually bought this on the deploying class because they actually come on tang, which is pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Hey, let's talk about Cartier. So apparently Cartier created the deploying buckle. And speaking of Cartier, how about a Ballon Bleu?
42mm rose gold Ballon Bleu with the
speaking of, I guess this is the buckle that everybody's talking about, right? That they invented 110 years ago now. Hit the market, extremely popular. At the moment that the Ballon Bleu came out in stainless steel, people were thinking it's going to be the next Daytona. Of course, they said the same thing about Cartier Roadster, and what does Cartier do? They just make a lot of them. When they came out with the Ballon Bleu, which by the way, this is the rose gold version with the blue dial, I think it's very nice.
That's actually pretty rare.
We
don't see too many of rose gold with blue dials out there on the market.
But to contradict what you said, which is what I usually do,
no.
I think if Ballon Bleu, at the time that they came out, make a much smaller production, have a few limited editions in between, I think this could have been the next Daytona, especially in stainless steel.
Wow, Roman.
But when they came out, they were. Everybody wanted one. You couldn't find one.
You Stephen A. Smith?
No. Same thing happened. I'm not that cocky. Same thing happened with...
He's not cocky. He's confident. So when you tell him,
I met him in Vegas.
So when you tell him he's the best, it's a compliment.
Going back to the Ballon Bleu.
You are the king of watch hot takes. You are.
I am.
For sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
You just said a Ballon Bleu was going to be the next Daytona.
No, when they first came out.
And that's no hate.
When they first came out, a lot of people in the industry actually said that. They said the same thing about the Roadster. But the problem is the supply was overdoing the demand.
Yeah, you're right. 1 million units a year isn't enough.
But that's their distribution. What are you going to do? Let's talk about the fact that my all-time favorite complication from Audemars Piguet from their complicated line, is the original concept 𝗏𝗏𝗏. What they did here, how many did they make, Adrian?
This is limited to
20 or 50?
No, more.
Okay, who's got good eyes?
I forget what it is.
What can we say about the concept, other than the fact that they made something perfect when they came out with the 𝗏𝗏𝗏, followed up by the carbon concept, followed up by the concept GMT. And this is probably radiation number 12, I would say, when it comes to concepts. I don't remember everything else that was in between.
Well, yeah, you have the 𝗏𝗏𝗏, you have the carbon concept. Well, then you had a few concepts in between.
Well, you had
the
Singapore
concept, the titanium concept.
No, after the carbon concept, they did the concept GMT.
Concept GMT,
which is titanium ceramic.
Concept GMT in white ceramic.
In white ceramic. They did a two-tone. They did a rose gold. Rose.
Well, this version 26589. This is when they started making the flying tourbillons.
Yes,
whereas
exactly.
before they were not.
I wish they would come out with this in like a 42 millimeter.
Listen, the 43 concept that they recently came out with the flying, that's just the perfect case size.
It is.
That's
I agree.
a little bit too big for me.
But I don't know. This electric blue is just it just
the color
works.
is insane.
It just works.
The color on top of the gray sandblast is just
what
beautiful.
Is it?
It's the concept chronometer blue.
It's the concept chronometer blue.
Yeah,
I like that.
Exactly.
I like that. The mystery watch. Now, people, it's a very simple answer, but people often ask about how do these mystery watches work. And of course, if we're going to go back to mystery watches, we have to go back to, once again, Cartier. Cartier are the ones that originally made, I believe, the clock, the mystery clock, where the hands seemingly float in midair and they still show time and
Hot
move.
take, real quick hot take.
Yes.
Double mystery from Frank Mueller to me is, in my opinion, pound for pound, the best looking women's watch on the market.
I will agree with you, especially this one, because this one is the one that has the baguette bezel.
The baguette bezel,
The baguette
yep.
bezel just adds so much more oomph. Now, the way this thing works is, okay, well, not maybe for this particular watch, but the way the Cartier mystery clock worked when they originally made it is all it was is two transparent discs onto which the hands were mounted, and it wasn't the hands that were moving, it was actually the discs. Hence, mystery time. How does it tell time? And of course, this was just Frank Mueller's take on mystery or double mystery, where again, same kind of concept. You have two discs here that move, and seemingly that hand tends to float. Kind of defeats the purpose when you start icing out the dial and doing all those things of the whole mystery thing, because again, the concept behind the mystery is that the hands should float in midair. You should be able to see through the watch. But again, this was just his take on what I would call a Cartier classic, which is the mystery watches, right? Speaking of dials and interesting facts, right before the original Lange 1, and I can't stress out enough how iconic this watch is for Lange. The original Lange 1 in a 38 millimeter is the quintessential collectible Lange for everybody to have, because it's the first Lange 1, right? Out of all the Langes, be it Saxonia, be it Lange 1, Grand Lange 1, Lange 1 is it for me. Of course, you have your Zeitwerks, you have your perpetuals, you have all kinds of variation, your datagraphs and all those things. I know that Mark is sitting on the side saying datagraph, and I agree, I love the datagraph. But it's like,
if you're looking to get in your first Lange, in
this is the Lange.
In terms of price point and entry level, Lange 1 all
but
day.
Marco told me a fact that I actually did not know, something about, what's the triangle?
So if you trace from the center to the middle of the day wheel, and then the middle of the day wheel to the sub-seconds, it traces a perfect equilateral triangle. We'll put it up on.
Okay, so from here to here to here, it creates a perfect triangle.
It's what creates the golden ratio of the Lange 1.
That's what it creates the way?
The golden ratio?
The golden ratio of the, yeah, like you learn something new. I'm glad to have it, because you know what? I learn something new from him every day just the same. So that's actually pretty cool. I did not know that fact about Lange 1. Next time I'm going to be talking, like, did you know, by the way? If I took a pencil, by the way, did you know that it creates the perfect, anyway.
All right, so
last but not least.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up with the 5164A in stainless steel. Classic watch, so comfortable.
Quick market update. So August, right? We finished off August. Believe it or not, we had a record selling month for the month of August. We had a wonderful summer. June, July, August were all great months. We hit our averages and above. August especially, we overdid it. Well, I don't say overdid it.
In financial terms, we'll say our third quarter was strong.
Our third quarter was extremely strong, where the expectation was for it to be slow.
Yep.
And going into the fourth quarter, we had expectation for September, but what we forgot about is that, you know, people are coming off vacations, back to school, back to business, back to work, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, our expectation of September was to be even better than August, and it wasn't. It was actually worse than August, believe it or not. But I think now that we're going to roll into, I've been watching the market has been kind of rebounding. People are, you know, going back to buying the dips and things like that. if that continues to go and the market sort of stabilizes at least a little bit, not like like it's been doing that for a few weeks.
Well, we do have some positive news coming out of Hong Kong where they lifted the travel ban, which is, you know, big news for our industry.
Oh, we get to go back to our office.
We get to go back to our office.
Hong Kong, here we come.
Hopefully China opens back up and it has, you know, free trade in between, or, you know, people
I'm giving October, I'm giving this October sort of like one of those rocky. So you ever see overweight people try to get out of a beach chair? You know, it's just like you're gonna like rock back and forth and then finally just make that final push. My dad did that.
I guess when you get to a certain age, I spring right up.
You right up?
Yep,
not even like one rock back and forth? Yeah, I have to rock back and
forth.
It's called
squats. Boom.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. YouTube, like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, I gotta get this shipped out.
Oh, we gotta get a picture taken. Hold up, before you go.